Anna will probably be here by herself, but she does not mind. Welcome to Blind with a Vision, where we always have a vision, and the vision for this, for right now, at this precise moment, is to actually share with you guys a story, a real story that I experienced or that I have when I was looking, when I went to, I guess, when I had a job interview. This happened a few years ago, and I decided to actually start sharing all these stories that I have, all these nasty experiences. And this one was not only nasty. This story that I'm gonna share, and that it happened to me years ago. Well, must have been around 2017 or so, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a total case of open discrimination. As a tribute to Martin Luther King's birthday, which is gonna be tomorrow, today's Sunday, and we're celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. tomorrow, one of my favorite um, people in the United States. I love everything that he did. And yeah, I'm going to be sharing. So if you are new to Blind with a Vision, well, this is Anna. I live here in Southern California, diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa when I was 19. I lost my sight gradually. I was born in Mexico, and I'm gonna say it openly, just out loud. I'm from Mexico. I was born in Mexico, and my parents brought me here to the States when I was a teen, right? Uh, I know there is people that they don't like to say out loud that they're Mexicans because they get discriminated. I know, interesting, because I guess people can quote unquote uh, see where you come from, although that is a very extremely biased thing to say because you never know when someone is really Mexican, right? And I say it out loud because I notice that when I say this, people right away um, create a concept about me. Very often they don't know. They ask me if I'm from Puerto Rico or El Salvador or those countries, right? But no, I'm from Mexico, and I recently, back in at the end of September, I said out loud that I'm Mexican, very proudly. I'm very proud to be Mexican. And I experienced a huge case of discrimination. And that took me back to a few years ago when I was openly discriminated. I guess I'm comparing this with what happened here. It was kind of hidden discrimination, but to me it was extremely open. And this actually took me back a few years back when I went to, I applied for a job. I was given a job interview, and I want to share with you what happened. I guess I'm going to stop here to ask you if you are blind, um, legally blind, low vision. Um, it doesn't even matter how you went blind because it doesn't. The blindness is the same. When you experience discrimination. I guess my question to you, have you ever been discriminated when applying for jobs, like experience open discrimination? Have you ever been told what I was told? Let me see if anyone is here, and I'm going to go ahead and share quickly. Okay. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Mike. Right. Right. So a few years ago, well, let me go back. I actually, I just said that my parents brought me from Mexico when I was a teen. Um, I was, I started losing my sight at age 18 and was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa at age 19. So I grew up here, but my first language is Spanish. It was difficult to actually learn English, and now I think in English, believe it or not. So I went to learn English. I remember going to school, learning English. It was difficult, and then my sight started getting worse. but I still enroll in the community college. And I went on and on for years trying to decide what I wanted to study, although I always knew that I wanted to study psychology, right? I was told that, no, Anna, I remember going to see the Disabled Student Services counselor, and she said, like, you want to study psychology? And I said, yes. She go like, oh, you're going to have to take advanced math, statistics. Maybe you want to study something else. And I pay attention I listen to her. So I was lost for a few years with changing majors, like just the way it happens with many people. Got my bachelor's degree in liberal arts, and then I transferred to the 4-year college. Did a bachelor's degree in sociology with a minor in Spanish. I know my Spanish was really really bad, so I did a minor in Spanish, and then I did a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, with an counseling with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy. Did my practicum, started working on that, and then I actually went back to school just for fun to do a second master's, and this time was in gerontology. So I worked for a while with teenagers, and then in locations with older people. And I wanted to actually get a job with the Veterans Administration, right? So I went into the whole search mode where the closest VA was. And what I did, I actually went on the website for the master's degree, my first master's degree at Cal State Fullerton, because they used to list companies where students would do a practicum, and you would be able to just see the names of companies. So I found the VA, and they announced a job that was open, and anyone could apply. It was doing one-on-one therapy, and I did not apply for the blind and for the department that helps people that is blind, the blind or visually impaired department, or gerontology. No, I apply for the just regular, right? So I apply, send my resume. They actually gave me an interview right away. And this was my first time going to Long Beach, where they have the VA. It's a huge, huge location. They have so many buildings there, many, many buildings. So I took my access, my special transportation, uh, there. And I know I researched, I already knew that they have a lot of older adults, people that are volunteers. So you have no difficulty finding whatever building I needed, right? Well, this time I, got all ready. I prepared for the job interview questions, the most frequently asked questions when you apply for, professionally. I just prepare myself. I practice. I remember having a rehab counselor, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I got the support, got all pretty, whatever. And I put myself in the positive mode. I go, Anna, you're gonna go with positive. You're not gonna, I told myself, you're not gonna get upset, whatever. And so I went all happy. Remember going with my guide Capri. Capri was the best guide dog, honestly. So I arrived there and told them where my interview was. And a very nice older guy, he walked me, and it was far away from the main building. We walk and walk and walk. And when we arrived, he signed me in, and my interview was at 8:30 in the morning. He goes, oh, this is the waiting room. There is other people waiting, and they'll call your name. So it was already 8 in the morning. I didn't want to show up early, right? They usually say if you're going to be going to a job interview, you better be there at least 15 minutes before, maybe not way before. And there were more people waiting already for the job interviews, and they called their names, some of them. And then there was a lady, the lady who was going to do my interview was this lady named Gabrielle. All right. So she came and she asked, is this Anna? And I said, yes. And she goes, I'm Gabrielle. I'm the one that is going to give you the interview. And she, 100% sure that she was told that I was blind by the front desk people. So she goes, I'll call you in a few minutes. It was already about, I don't know, almost 8:30. And then she just stepped outside, like 3 steps, And she turned back and she goes, "Oh, I have to ask this question. Let me ask you. Did you know how to use a computer?" And I was all in the positive mode, so I said, "Yes, I know how to use. Yes, I do, because I do. I know how to use a computer. I know how to use Word. I know how to use whatever, right? I know how to type. I might have my accent, but I know I know how to write in English." And I had all these copies of resumes listing all my degrees and my experience and whatever. And then it was 8:30, nothing. 8:40, nothing. 9 o'clock, nothing. Got up, went to the front desk, which was not really far away from there. I always make a mental mapping of where is the front desk, where they sign me up, and then I pay attention to where, when they take me to whatever, a waiting room. um, and I got up and went and asked, and the guy who was at the front desk, an older guy, sure, a volunteer, I don't think he was a worker, he was very nice. He go like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna call you in a moment. Didn't she come and tell you that she was gonna call you?" And I said, "Yeah." So to make the long waiting process short, you guys, it was 9:45, and I was still waiting. I was still waiting. Uh, During this time, the guy came and said, and I, like, "They're gonna call you soon." And I keep waiting. It was almost 10 when he came to actually get me. He was not that lady, right? She came he came to get me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, I'm ready. They're ready for you," right? And he said, "They're ready for you." So we walk, and I follow, Capri follow, and I tried to make conversation, but he was kind of serious. And we enter a room, and believe me that even if you're totally blind, when a location is messy, ugly, nice, huge, small. When it's a conference room, or when it's a small room. I don't know if my other blind people actually know, but I knew. He opened the door, and I felt that there were, many people in the room. I felt the presence of not only one person doing an interview. I felt that there were several people, and I heard this male voice, older male voice, who said, "Sit her over there." So the guy was very, very nice. He go like, "Oh, this way, there is," and I just asked Capri, right away, because Capri was really good. I would say, "Follow, follow, follow. Let's find the chair." And Capri took me to the chair, so I sat, and I said, "Good morning." But right when I was saying good morning, the guy go like, "Oh, so you apply for this position?" And I said, "Yes." And right away he goes, "Why did you apply for this position and not for any position with the blind and visually impaired department?" I was in the very extremely positive mode, not depressed, not anxious, nothing. I was just relaxed. I mean, they called me right away. They talked to me over the phone. "You're bilingual. You speak English and Spanish, and you have these degrees." And gerontology is a degree that we really value, because a lot of our clients, and the lady went on and on and on and on, right? And that usually happens when I apply for jobs, I have to say. They call me right away. The difficulty is that I rarely now say that I'm blind, although my resume reflects. If someone would be is has a brain, they would see that I'm blind, because a lot of my skills show, you know, skills for the blind, what I can do, and this and that. I mean, my degrees are not just for the blind, right? So his question was, and he was a little, I don't know if that's the way he spoke, but I don't think so, right? I say, "No, I saw this job open. I, saw read the qualifications, the degrees. I have that. I have the experience." And his question after that, and I could tell that people were watching me around, honestly. I a few years ago, I have retinitis pigmentosa, so I lost my sight gradually, and it was very, very gradual, from being 20/20 to having night blindness, and then the tunnel vision, and then a tunnel vision that closed up, and then pigments in the middle of whatever tunnel vision I had. and the cataract surgery that I had, but I could still see shadows. I believe probably, I don't know, a few years ago, I could still see shadows. I could still see like when the TV channels were changing, and I could still shadows. But in 2017, I don't think I could. I thought I did, but I didn't. But I could feel people there. So his question right away was, "Are you low vision? Can you see a little bit?" And I said, "No. People don't really understand when you say I only have light perception. What does that even mean, right?" So I very often say, with people with RP, very often, which is are we have light perception, which I don't even have see shadows anymore. I'm looking at my lights, just looking around. I see the light. It's really bright. It's giving me a lot of flashing lights when I look at it. But I didn't even see shadows anymore, right? So I said, no, I'm totally blind. But I do. I have the degrees, I have the experience, I have the qualifications, I believe. And I kind of laugh, kind of giggle. And I took out my resumes, and um, someone got up, and it was not him. Someone got up on my right side, and they grabbed my resumes, and he looked at it, and um, he goes, I don't know if we have a job for you here, because the VA is very difficult when it comes to giving accommodations. And if you could see a little bit, it would be different. We're very slow. It takes a while for us to give accommodations. But I mean, this is open discrimination, you guys. He goes, if you could see a little, maybe, I would give you a job. It would be different. And then I hear a voice of what I identify a Latino accent, believe it or not. I can tell who is from whatever ethnic background most of the time. Of course, sometimes I'm mistaken, right? But I could hear someone with my Latino pitch accent, and he said, "Hi, Anna, this is Dr. Whatever, clinical psychologist, Dr. So and so Fernando." And he said, there is a group of 10 people, 10 of us here. We're having a meeting. So the lady, Gabrielle, did not give me the interview. They never called me on time because they knew that I was blind, right? They, I mean, I'm picturing the guy at the front desk. When the volunteer walked me there, he took me to the window. He told me, they're going to help you here. And he said, can you help her? She has a job interview. And another older guy responded, who is the one that walked me there to these people. And he is actually the one that went to get me over there in the waiting room. I'm sure that he put there, someone blind. The lady found out. She went to ask me. And one of the questions that this Dr. Katz, I remember his last name, the first, he asked me, let me ask you, do you know how to use a computer? The same question that the lady had asked me. Do you know how to use a computer? And I, with a big smile, I said, yes, I do. Right? All he needed was to ask me, like, how? How do you know? I mean, from what I understood, he knew about accommodations. He knew about screen reader. So this doctor, Fernando, he goes, Anna, this is Dr. I'm a clinical psychologist. And so there is 10 of us here. And, excuse me, Dr. Katz, he said, like, don't you think that someone like Anna could be a pioneer in this department, and she can teach us how to, you know, how to start hiring someone that has a visual disability? He was all proper. He go like, well, no, she, if she could see whatever right in front of me. I don't know, guys, how I didn't have the courage, or I was, because this happens to me when I'm in the very positive mood. And this happened to me towards the end of September, when I went to Guide Dogs of America with being positive. I go like, I'm coming to get my guide dog. I waited for a year and a half. And then when I'm so positive, it's like I can't even really stop to, because I'm just not going to be the picky blind lady, this and that. I mean, I could have just stopped and say whatever, right? So this doctor, he goes, hey, Randy, to another person that was there, Randy, why don't you take her take her. He didn't even refer to my, Anna, my name, whatever, right? Um, from what I was able to tell, he actually passed my resumes around, or I don't know if the person that grabbed my resumes on the run, because I did look around. I say, oh, I have my resumes. Anyone here? And someone said, yeah, but they didn't say, who it was. I'm assuming that it was one of them. They passed my resumes around. So this doctor, when this Dr. Fernando says, maybe Anna, maybe Anna could be the pioneer for us to start giving accommodations for, any possible um, staff here. He goes, yeah, but she's not able to see, and we have the blind and visual impaired department. Maybe why didn't you apply for a job over there? He actually asked me. I go, no, because this job is what I wanted to apply for. And I said that nicely. And then he goes, hey, Randy, why don't you take Anna to the blind and visual impaired department so she can ask and see if they have any jobs over there? I mean, honestly, you guys, I have seen that over and over and over because I have exposed myself to be out there. And for some blind people to say, like, oh, no, no, she's just complaining. And it's because they have just stay home and not even have applied for jobs. And I have, I go to job interviews just to practice interviews. I don't even care if they don't give me a job. It's just to get over the whole fear of having a job interview, right? So I actually had applied for another job with the VA before this one. I didn't even get a job interview. It was working with, the veterans who are blind. I think it was in the time when a lot of veterans came back and they, lost their sight, and they had a high demand of whatever counselors. I go like, I can totally do this. I went blind. I went not blind in the war, right? In that such a situation, but I'm blind. I have learned how to do this and that, and I have my degrees, and I can work at this location under the license. Well, and I knew people that worked there with a bachelor's degree, and I remember the salary was $81,000, and people would say like, you really think you're gonna get that? No, but I'm trying, right? No, but I'm, I mean, even if we don't know that we're not going to be hired, you can just, I want to go and see how the job interview is. I want to see the location. I want to see who works there. I want to see who's going to give me the job interview, right? So this person that this Dr. Katz, asked to take me down there, he go like, oh, hi, Anna, my name is Randy. So whatever psychologist here. And he also asked this doctor, and I go like, I don't, he said something about, oh, I believe they're closed right now, but right away, some lady, whatever psychologist, I don't remember the name, she goes, oh, Anna, I see that your resume, you have a pretty good resume. I see that you also have a master's degree in gerontology, which studies the aging process. And he goes, it's one of those degrees that nowadays is a plus. And you're bilingual, and we actually have a department uh, that specifically provides services for the aging population. Why don't you go and apply over there, or take a look, stop by? And this doctor kept going up, he went on and on about the whole thing, like, he didn't even say, I apologize, I'm sorry, nothing. Like, look, it would be different if you could see a little bit, if you were low vision, but because you're not able to see, we don't have the accommodations. Randy, take her over there. Can you guys believe that I just got up and said thank you? And this guy walked me out there, and he was trying to make conversation. And I don't even know why. I said, you know what? I don't want to go there. I just went along the way I went along with the whole thing that happened to me at GDA. Didn't want to complain, didn't want to be seen as a picky lady, or screaming, or saying something, or, I mean, would you actually say something right in that setting, you guys? I mean, I've been saying out loud that if I would have done what they did to me at GDA, including all those blind people that were there, every single one of them, well, not except for one of them, I would have gone home feeling really bad about myself. And that's why I frequently don't even say anything over there, because no, I'm not gonna behave and behave the way these people did. So this guy actually, this Randy, took me to the this apartment, the blind and visually impaired. He goes, oh, now let me go and check, whatever, because I believe they're closed. So you know what? Don't worry. So he goes, did you want to wait, or are you going to wait for your ride? I go, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to wait. It's going to take a while because I expected to be here longer than what I just, the few minutes. But if you take me to the main building so I can wait for my ride, yeah. And I look at him. I could tell that he was African American. So I go, you know what? I'm already used to this, but not in such a way. I mean, that was totally open discrimination, and you and I know it's because I'm blind. Is it because I'm blind, or because this guy is not gonna say what he was? And he goes, believe me that I've been working here for a few years, and now he goes, being African American, I know exactly what you just experienced and what you're talking about. And he took me to the location when I waited for my access. He actually gave me his telephone number, and as told me that if I needed anything, just to give him a call. I remember calling back and saying thank you for the help, thank you for walking me over there. And I remember getting in front of my computer when I got home and messaging this Dr. Cat and saying thank you for the interview and for your time. And he messaged back saying, you're welcome, good luck. I mean, I've been discriminated a lot of the times. Most of the time we go for a job on a job interview, and you get it, and people are nice, and the most discrimination that I have experienced, like open discrimination, is for someone to say like, wow, you are so smart, you're so smart, you have so many degrees, how do you do it? I mean, I guess other people can also be asked that question. Or wow, whatever, right? Well, people have been like, oh, no, 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 I cannot give you the interview because I'm allergic to dogs. So after a few years of being a guide dog user, I actually learned that I needed to let them know that I was bringing a guide dog. Or as soon as I walk into the building, I would say, I have a guide dog, and I hope the person that is going to give me the interview is not allergic to dogs. And I'm going to confess that this is usually what I do, because then you're going to have to disclose that you're totally blind, and you might not be given an interview, right? Now, when you go there and you actually tell them at the front desk, I'm totally blind, have a guide dog, hope the person is not allergic to dogs, because I don't want anyone to get sick. Then they're afraid of not giving you the interview. You frequently find those people that are very nice and go like, oh, I love dogs, I love your dogs. Most people, because most people is kind and compassionate, right, in this world. I have to say, you guys, that I was all positive, but after a few days it really hit me. It hit me hard, and I regret not having seek legal action, and I have never done that. Someone in the family, someone very loved, she always says, you could already have millions of dollars with everything that has happened to you. You could already have millions. I mean, I will share with you guys my situation with Cal State Fullerton and the accommodations, and how a lot of the accommodations that now we get in the United States in universities is thanks to my formal complaint with the Sacramento here in California. And this complaint went all the way to the civil rights in Washington, D.C. The agreement, they made an agreement. Even Harvard University and other universities copied that agreement, thanks to this little tiny Anna here. Honestly, because that's what I do. I don't script and key and kick and whatever. I actually do it. And I'm going to start sharing those stories, because we need to share with others. And it's not like I'm popular and I have all the views in the world, right? And that I make any money. on YouTube, right? You need to be doing makeup and all those superficial things. And I'm not criticizing whoever is doing it, but because they're making a salary out of it. But I mean, it's not something that I want to do. I'm going to be sharing all these stories, and that happened to me. That's totally total discrimination. I should have really sued this location. And I guess for me, it's not about suing companies and people and whatever, but there is a point where you just need to start actually doing that. I always, yeah, I judge the whole United States and this whole thing about that. Now everyone, no one even wants to say anything because everyone is suing everyone. And that has gotten out of hand. But when these things happen to us, we really need to speak up and say do something about it. I remember calling the director of the practicum department at Cal State Fullerton before going there, and I talked to Mary and I asked her like, "Hey, Mary, this and this." You go like, "Oh yeah, that's a great position. You should go. Whatever." I mean, I was not in school anymore, but we would just keep in touch. And I remember going to during her office hours to ask her about it because she kept in touch with these people. Of course, once they are in the position of power anywhere, people don't really stick to their office hours. And I went like 3 or 4 times, and she was not in her office during office hours, and she was just chatting, eating candy with some coworker. Oh, no, I don't have time. I have to run to class, right? So I talked to her over the phone, and she goes, "Yeah, you should go this and that, and whatever." And then when this happened, and I call and share with her, she goes, "I never told you to go over there." See, people see that you're discriminated the way it happened to me at Guides of America. They saw it. Someone who was on my side saw it, but they don't do anything about it. They don't do anything about it. They go along with it. So they cannot say that they were not part of it. All these people that were sitting there, I guess the only one that was on my side was a Latino guy and somehow this African American guy. And they were clinical psychologists. Imagine that. So this lady from Cal State Fullerton said, like, "No, I never told you that. What the only thing what I gained was for Cal State Fullerton not to have the practicum information on possible open jobs on their website for students who were not part of the program anymore. They took that away, and and she denied that she had told me about this job and that she had given me information because she didn't want to be part of the. When I told her what happened, she said, like, I didn't tell you about it. I go, I can't believe people just behave like that. Honestly, in Anna's little tiny world, it's like she just can't believe that it happens. So this is the reason why, you guys. I really believe I just did a live streaming one of these days on my dream. I have a dream. I have a dream that not only we wake up from being so passive and so quiet, and that so we can actually start joining each other in the blind community and the disabled community, and finally work on gaining a place in society, right? Because all these locations and the whole world, and I'm not saying that every single organization and agency and people out there discriminate the blind, because I would be lying. That's not true. But there are those, especially the ones in position of power, who they will not they're not doing anything for us. I have to say that I did get depressed about it for a few days, because that's me. And then I just got up and kept going and went to other job interviews, and that getting a job in the Cypress College. Yeah. And then the counselor was excluding the blind. I was actually helping students to actually learn assistive technology and getting them ready to go to the 4-year college. But he was only, they asked me to interpret the students, and it was a whole discrimination towards this not English speaker blind people. And they called me into the office and asked me, so, and I was helping them. And the main lady in the disabled student services at Cypress College, she called me, she asked me, she goes, okay, Anna, so on which side are you on? On the student side or the college side? I go, whenever it's about discrimination, I'm going to be on the other, I'm not going to be on on that side. I'm not. Even if they fire me, even if I have to quit, I will not be being blind. I'm not going to be one of those blind people that works in this agency. So working for whatever they give services to my blind people. And it's not that I'm going to just be allowing them to do whatever they want. No, but that was total discrimination. Not wanting to give accommodations to a student with blind and with autism, and not wanting to put whatever his material, he needed his material on Braille. And they said, like, no, 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 he can just use JAWS. No, if his accommodation is Braille because he was born blind, remember being this 21-year-old with, blind and had autism. No, this happens to us, you guys. So I thought I would share this story. I don't know. What about you? Have you ever experienced something like this? I don't know, Mike. I know that you went blind not long ago. Did you ever, do you have an experience with any blind people that apply for that department or anything you knew about the blind? I don't want to make this video too long, but I wanted to put this out here because people think that we're just complaining and that Anna is just upset and she's victimizing herself and that she's complaining and whatever. It's not. You need to be in the skin of a blind person to actually know how it is, and you need to be in the skin of a blind person that actually gets out there and exposes him or herself to job interviews, to school, to work, to whatever we need to do, right? Let me see if any of you have, uh, let me see. Okay, I see 7 people watching, and I see Steven, Mike, Jesus. Hi, Jorge. Hi, Aaron. Aaron of Aaron's Opinion. He has a YouTube channel. You guys follow Aaron. He has a YouTube channel that is called Aaron's Opinion. And Aaron, I actually did get your message on WhatsApp about the whole guide dog, and I've been just busy, and I meant to actually message you back, but I listened to your whole message. I did, and there were so many things that it's because you don't know what happened. But I appreciate all the feedback and all the suggestions and the possible um, tips to actually make it better. But it did not work. Blind bad guy, nice to see me. Oh, nice to see you, to hear you again. George says, thank you for sharing with us. You're welcome. No, thank you, George, for listening too. Blind bad. Dusty Marie. Oh, nice meeting you. From Corpus Christi, huh? From from Texas. How's Texas over there? Okay, so I see that there are not really more questions. I really wanted to put this on my. I really wanted to actually share this story here, so people can maybe dreaming here. I'm telling you, I have a dream. I have many dreams. So I'm dreaming that someone will click on this video and they will be able to understand my Anna English. And listen to this. This really happened to me, and it was not fun. It was not fun. I mean, imagine that you go to a job interview, and I mean, it was so obvious that the lady was told she's blind. There is someone waiting for you the job interview. Your 8:30 appointment is here. She's blind. She went to see me, and for her to actually to go back and say like, oh, I have to ask this question. Let me ask you, do you know how to use a computer? Yes, I do. I know how to use a computer. right? I told her I use a screen reader, JAWS. I use the JAWS program, and yes, I know how to use a computer. Been using it for years. Come on, I was able to do my AA degree, my bachelor's degree, my minor, my two masters while I was learning English, while I was going blind, while I, was going through a lot. So, and guess what? I got really good grades the whole time. I'm one of the students who will read every single chapter, even 3 or 4 times, because I needed to. I mean, I had classmates who they would laugh because they were like, I didn't even read the book. Good luck with those psychotherapists out there. Honestly, I guess some of those were these people that they didn't even speak up in this room. So that's why she didn't call me to do the job interview at 8:30. That's why I waited almost until 10. Really? And then just to hear that, why didn't you apply for that? Why did you apply for this job? If you could see, I would hire you. If you were low vision, but you're totally blind. We are very slow when it comes to accommodations. I mean, just take her over there. I mean, how do you call that? And I guess one of my faults is that when I get in the positive mode, when I say like, you know what, I'm gonna go there, I'm doing this, I'm gonna be positive about it. I'm not gonna get upset, whatever, because I've seen many blind people just getting upset right there. So like, oh, he did that to me and she did that to me, whatever. I'm not, I don't do that. I don't. I do it after I leave. So I guess that's why Martin Luther King did what he did. In a way, Martin Luther King, I wish that we all, the blind, would just unite and get together and grab our canes and go to the White House and all together do make the sound of the top, 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 white cane, top, 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 letting them know that we need a place in society, and we, like anybody else in any society around the world, we need and want and need a job, a salary, because without a salary, we are not independent. We're not, right? Mm, I'm not saying that every single blind person belongs to the to the lower social economic status, but many of us are. We're not rich. I mean, we have many blind people that might be in the middle class. Maybe you're not poor, but very few belong to the 1%. And then a lot of the services like the guidos, I mean, a lot of these guidos are trained. I bet you that these dogs are not even trained the way the blind person like me needs the guido, exposed to every single street and crossings and finding stores the way. I mean, no, if the guido is just going to be put in a car, nice car, taken to the events and to the store, and then, but not really walking on the street. Don't you think this guide dog is going to experience culture shock when this guide dog goes with the blind person? They really need to, these organizations and locations and the world, they don't need, we need for them to actually know who the blind community is. I know we're so calm and quiet, and they're like, all right, don't know, Anna's just upset. Of course, you get upset when these situations happen, but I have many of these. Maybe it's bad luck for Anna. Maybe it's because not only I'm blind, but I have my accent, and I'm a Mexican, and I'm a woman, because women get discriminated. And I have, and I have, and I have. You know what? It's been years that I decided to stop thinking about that, and I just go for it, for whatever. And decided to speak up because we have to. Anyway, talking about speaking up, I got sick in the last 3 days. I have the flu. My chest hurts, my throat hurts. It's really bad, and it's bothering me right now. But I thought I would just didn't think anyone would be listening to my story. Just decided to just put it here in my YouTube channel. I was checking my video that I just did for English and in Spanish and erased it by accident. But oh well, it was meant to be. Anyway, hope you find this story helpful and makes you more than helpful. That helps you reflect on it. Okay. Okay, let me see. I'm just checking and see if there are any other comments. Comments. All right. 45 minutes is more than enough. Thank you so much for joining Blind with a Vision. We always have a vision. I hope you have a vision for the day, for the week, for the weekend, for the month, for the year, and a vision and mission in life. Talk to you. See you in the next videos. Adios. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.